Now, 10 years ago, The Conversation, which was an online newsletter reflecting African stories, went live. What started off in a small office of 9 in Johannesburg quickly grew its footprint across the continent. Its hook? Well, to work with academics across Africa and internationally to bring informed expertise to a global audience. Over 11,000 articles later, written by about 7,500 academics, and over 180 million reads later, The Conversation Africa now has offices in Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, as well as Senegal. Let's get more insight on the publication and its success in the past decade with the founding editor, Caroline Southey, who joins us now. Caroline, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it. A decade is a long time, and you've been able to change the publication quite significantly. Tell us about it.
Thank you, and thanks so much for having us, and thank you so much for featuring us on our 10th anniversary. It's really exciting to have reached here. So, I mean, what's changed dramatically is that we started with a very South Africa focus, with a very South Africa-based team, and now we have a footprint across the continent. And of course, we don't have coverage in every country, but we do have wonderful team members who give us, the Nairobi office gives us a good insight into East Africa, and then our Lagos office and our colleagues in Accra and in Dakar give us great West African coverage. So where we've come is from quite a narrow focus to delivering the promise of something that truly is Pan-African.
In trying to do this, I mean, some of the people you of course work with, the likes of Jabulani Sikhakhane, who himself worked, of course, in South Africa as well, the South African Reserve Bank spokesperson, many other places before that, etc. Just trying to get those expertise in those specific topics then. Was that a difficult thing to do or get, or was it just easy because these people are actually wanting to address inaccuracies that have certainly grown over the last 10 years?
Completely. What's unusual about the model is that only academics can write for the site. So you have to be registered in an academic institution, and you have to have either a PhD or you need to have taught or researched the subject that you want to write about for us for at least 5 years. Jabulani, the editor, Jabulani Sikhakhane is the editor of the site now. And the strength that he brings to the site is that he can work with academics who are very well steeped in economic affairs, in business affairs, and he can help them translate their fantastic knowledge into something that ordinary people can understand. And that's only possible if you've got somebody with that level of expertise and depth of understanding of a particular topic. But you're right, it's all about people wanting to share their knowledge. I mean, the generosity of academics has just been phenomenal. They write for us, we don't pay them. We see ourselves as a public good. We don't make a profit. We're funded by donors, and academics have come to the party and subjected themselves to quite a rigorous editing process. They get the last sign off of the article, but we do a lot of work to make sure that translation happens, and that's what's made it so popular.
What are the growing interest conversations that you're having then in the publication? So, areas in which people are more interested to kind of have conversations, or does that just sort of flow with the time, whereas maybe now the interest may be tariffs and Donald Trump's era, and so you find a lot more academics in that space wanting to converse, and then at a changing time you have war because Russia and Ukraine, etc. Is that ever changing?
Ever changing. So we operate a bit like a normal newsroom that you would recognize as a journalist, where we meet every day and we discuss what's happening in the news, and we think of academics that we can reach out to write about that breaking news. It's combined with academics writing to us saying, I've got this brilliant piece of new research coming out, can I write an article for you? And really, I mean, it's been a very humbling experience. My involvement first as editor and now as founding editor. I think I know what a great story is, and as a journalist, you sort of pride yourself on having the nose for being able to smell what's good. And what surprises me every day is the interest that's shown by readers in a whole range of topics. So some of it is breaking news, what we would call breaking news, the war, the tariffs, the debates in South Africa around the VAT increase. But a whole lot of the interest is around subjects that I would have thought were kind of arcane, like the latest find of a pangolin track by some archaeologists, or a latest breakthrough in vaccines. That's more of an obvious one. But the subjects that do really, really well on the site surprise me every day. And they range right across the board, from breaking news to just brand new, insightful research.
And what about topics that aren't so mainstream? I mean, one can go to things like art, for example. How significant a following do you have for areas like that?
Huge. It's huge. I mean, it's just so gratifying. So, we cover everything. We do arts and culture and society, business and economy, education, environment and energy. We do them all. The arts coverage gets incredible reach. Remember that we read by the readers who get our newsletter every morning. A lot of people who read us actually search for subjects, and then they find our articles. That's happening more and more and more. But to go back to the arts and culture question, and republishers. So we publish everything for free. And you guys, I know, use us a lot. Thank you very much for that. But for example, I'm looking at the most read stories today. The one is on the philosopher who reshaped how the world thinks about Africa, Mudimbe, and it's the fourth best read story on the site. The fifth best read story is about Burkina Faso and Mali's fabulous flora. There's a whole beautiful new book that's come out, and then the sixth best is on the Catholic Church. So that would also fall into kind of arts and culture.
Yeah.
But let me just tell you this.
Yep.
Okay, the second most read story is marine fossil found in South Africa is one of a kind, thanks to unusual preservation. So I would just encourage people to sign up to our newsletter, because you can have this array of stuff. Every morning, we publish every morning, but it's wide.
Caroline, how do you keep people interested in an era in which digital news can be found pretty much anywhere? Audience engagement, what does that pretty much look like? Your demographic as well, if you'd share?
Such an interesting question, because it's what preoccupies all of us involved in the media. And can I say that I don't think I have a clear answer, partly because we read very widely geographically, and we are read very widely. Our biggest age cohort is 24 to 36. I mean, I just find that so exciting and so absolutely brilliant. We read by a very wide variety, people with very wide variety of interests. And I think what's different about the conversation, which would be, say, different to what you guys need to do, is instead of chasing the holy grail of where's that specific cohort of readers, our focus is just on producing really wonderful material every day. As I say, it's got a wide interest base. And what I don't fully understand is that increasingly those readers are coming from searches. So people are going onto the net and searching for topics and finding us. Tell me how you pin down the profile of who those people are. I think for me, the real gem in it all is that we just produce really wonderful material written by experts who know their stuff. And we then, as editors, fix it so that you never have to reread a sentence, you never have to reread a paragraph. We hold your hands through the whole experience, and it makes for magic. And I think readers just love it.
Incredible. The world of donors, though, the world of donors, how's that faring? Because that model itself must, of course, be difficult. I mean, media is ever changing, and the ability to invigorate sponsors, donors, advertisers, etc., all of that has always needed to change, especially with the varying media we have right now. How are you keeping abreast?
It's hard, you know, it's really, really hard. So there's 7 sister sites that we've got, Australia, amongst them UK, France, Spain, US. Most of our sister sites are supported by universities, by their university sectors. And we just don't, on the continent, our universities just don't have the wherewithal to give us that kind of money. So we of all the sites, we're the most donor dependent. What's been interesting for me is that discovering that the donors who really, really, really want to support us and have continued to support us since the beginning are those that are investing in higher education. Because we obviously the bridge between the work that they putting resources into in terms of the money that they're giving universities for research, and we the bridge between the academic institution and the public. And so that's where our biggest supporters come from, is donors who are giving a lot of support to higher education. But you're right, you know, I mean, it's continual. At the moment, we're running a donor campaign as part of our 10th anniversary. So we also, you know, ask individuals to contribute and try and raise money where we can. But the donor landscape, and as you're well aware, it's going through even bigger trauma in the light of the cuts to USAID and just the whole, you know, kind of disaster that Trump has visited on that world.
Well, it certainly has been interesting. To another 10 years, indeed, for the conversation then, Caroline. Thank you so much for joining us, just sharing that insight. Very significant then as well.